guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the 2015-2016.
Well, this is a very interesting... I just wanted to stop you right there before you get it started, right? So it goes a little something like this. Cari amici sportivi, welcome to yet another edition of Rossoneri TV. Here where we talk about all things Milan. And yes, well, we're not professionals, nor do we pretend to be. For the first time ever, Signore Polillo, Signore Tavernese e Signore Leone. Parliamo della stagione di una squadra de pippone. Hey, thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Very nice magazine.
It's a pleasure to have you guys.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Beautiful. Beautiful. Very nice. Very nice.
Guys, another disastrous season. Where to start? I mean,
first, we shall start with this beautiful Superzat.
Why not? Show it. Show it to the
beautiful
camera,
Superzat. Steve, can you give it the honors? Have a nice taste?
Very nice.
Where are we starting?
Beautiful. So let's start before the season, guys. I mean, Mijalovic came into the club. He was appointed. And lots of people had mixed emotions about him. You know, some people, they weren't too crazy about him.
Interista!
But this is where the problem was. A lot of people like compare Steve over here, Interista. I see him more as a Lazialista. But in the end, I think we looked at as Mijalovic as being that, you know, that don't screw around kind of guy, and we were more positive than negative. If I'm going on a far fetch on this one here, guys, but I believed in his skills, and honestly, I still think we made a mistake. But anyways, that's a different story.
I think the same. I mean, Mijalovic, I think he showed it right away. He had a certain way to deal with the players. Some liked it, some didn't. But at the end of the day, you know, in most cases, he got the job done. I mean, throughout the season, at one point we just lost 2 matches in a run of 20. So I mean, that was pretty good in terms of statistics and points. And we were actually hopeful to get back in the Europa League, or at least in the Champions League, or something in general. And at the end of the day,
it wasn't good enough for Presidente Berlusconi.
That's right.
But speaking of Presidente, don't we have one of our own that's supposed to bring us coffee?
We do, guys, because the Milan Club Montreal is back in action, and we're restarting with a relaunch of the club. So, Mr. Marcello, il Presidente, here it is. Grazie. With our coffee. Much deserved after such a season, I think.
There is no alcohol in these coffees.
No alcohol, and there's even in the Milan cups. In the Milan cups. Cheers, guys. Cheers with the cafe.
Any of you Milan fans from Montreal, please join us on Facebook anywhere. You're looking at 3 of the 5 administrators of the AC Milan fan club.
That's right.
But let's talk about this year.
So let's talk about it, guys. This summer, lots of signings were made, lots of money was spent, but I guess not in the best way. I mean, Steve, Bacca, Romagnoli, Bertolacci, Luis Adriano, Kuchka, Balotelli even came back.
I could run through it for you, my friend. I can run through it. Bacca, excellent striker, can create for himself. When you have no midfield, he's got to do those goals that he got, scrap goals. Romagnoli, great signing, $20 million price tag, a little bit expensive. We'll take him. Bertolacci, wow. Did we over-evaluate this guy? So, unfortunately, this guy is another Depresso guy that we added into the midfield who, unfortunately, does not fit in at the moment. He's young. We're going to give him a bit of time because he's Italian too. Luis Adriano. What to say about a guy that we wanted to sell to China, and then once he got to China, they sent him back. They sent him back, Christ!
What a story.
Kuka. He's a horse. He's a horse.
Yeah.
Balotelli, guys. I personally was a big fan of Balotelli, and I really vouched for him, and he really let me down. Not enough from this guy, and he knows, and everybody knows, that this is just wasted talent. Let's move on.
So let's talk about the season, guys. Inconsistent results at the beginning. We lost the Derby, the Madonnina, in the 3rd week of the season already. We lost to Fiorentina in the season opener, and then Napoli, where we got massacred at the San Siro 4-0, and I still remember that match like it was yesterday. But after that match, as I mentioned before, we only managed to lose 2 matches in the next 20, and people were already talking about Milan going back to Europe. Maybe we could make it back to the Champions League, but everything started to fall apart in March.
We got a little excited for what the capabilities of our team could have been, because I believe we were comparing ourselves to the last couple of years where, hey, look, we could probably get an extra 10 points, you know? But when it comes down to, you know, people complaining about the Coppa Italia final and not making Europa, I believe I did discuss this with you guys. If you look at our season against the three relegated teams, guys, Verona, Frosinone, and Carpi, all games combined, we're only be able to get 7 points. If we would have got 5 more points out of those 3 games, we would have made Europa League. So this is what we got to look at. And again, coming back to the season, to Mihalovic, was he good? Was he not good? Can we all agree that the coaching change, no matter who would have came in, what did it give? Absolutely. I think we changed not $1 for 4 quarters. We changed $1 for 3 quarters. But anyways, that was just a year in shambles. I think we all believed that something else was going to come out of this year, maybe a little light at the end of the tunnel, especially, Steve, as you were mentioning Balotelli. We all believed in him. Some of us still believe in him, and in the end, we got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
But guys, speaking about Mihalovic and Brocchi, I mean, Mihalovic, he was having a good season, and some people wanted him out of the club, but come on, I mean, with 6 games remaining, was it really the case to set him out? Okay, let alone the results that we ended up with 6 games remaining there, where I think we won 1 or 2 games with Brocchi. But I mean, was it really the time to do such a thing? You got the Coppa Italia final ahead of you, and just it wasn't a point to do it. I mean, we were still in 6th place. We were still qualifying for the Europa League at that spot. Steve, what's your take on this?
My take is I think Milan, as a club itself, did not want to qualify for Europa League. There's only that explanation that a fan like us 3 here and the millions around their computers watching the show here, guys, there's no other explanation. They almost did everything not to qualify for this Europa League. Poor results against the weaker teams. We could say yes, no, maybe done on purpose. I'm not even gonna go there. But guys, you sack your coach with 6 games left. All the work that he's put in the whole season, and you mentioned at the beginning those losses against Fiorentina, Inter, Napoli. Guys, those are all teams that finished ahead of us. But on the backside, we played Inter very well in the Ritorno. We played Fiorentina very well in the Ritorno. We played Napoli very well in the Ritorno. We played Juve very well in the Ritorno. He was building something. So why, with 6 games left, you decide to sack him? I have no idea. I don't have idea. I mean, I have another piece of sorpresa just because I have no idea.
Because only Silvio Berlusconi and the good Lord up there know exactly what's going on through his head, and I don't think we'll ever understand what was going through his head. But I believe La Curva Sud really voiced their opinion and how they felt, where whether he was the right choice or not, firing him, as you said, 6 games, it just didn't make any sense. And in the end, what do we have to look at ourselves and go, what else is new? Are we surprised that this team has been in shambles since we won the Scudetto? So, but
the problem is at the top. The problem is at the top and funnels all the way down.
Guys, you remember when Galliani had actually stepped down, and then there was a whole fiasco to come back? What if he would actually step down and Barba would have taken over the reins? Something for you guys to mull over. Who knows? We never know.
Definitely. Now, Saturday we witnessed a Coppa Italia loss against Juventus, and I think it was one of the better matches that we played all season round. Unfortunately, we lost it in extra time. We were at Ciociaro watching the game.
Very nice place. Very nice good food. Very good crema di cafe. Excellent. Very nice for the tummy.
Very nice. Very nice.
Everything was great except the loss. But that obviously means another year without Europe. So, what do you guys think is going to happen this postseason during the summer? Will Berlusconi finally sell? This is definitely the hot topic right now with the Chinese investors. The whole talking over this in the past few weeks. What's your take on this, guys? Do you think it's going to happen?
If I look at it as a fan and I say, yes, he's going to sell, I would be happy that we're not be in Europe, just so that we can concentrate on the league and not Europa League, maybe try to make the Champions League. If I look at it as a Milanese that I am, and I've already gone through this one summer, will he sell? Probably not. He's already putting a bastone in his tambella because he's saying he wants to stay as president for the next 3 years. They don't want you as president in the 3 years. They want to buy the club.
And everybody remember Mr. B at the beginning of the year?
That's
it was a done deal and everything.
48% sold, for 500 million, and then nothing happened. So that's why
we should have just made Europa League. We should have just made it.
I think maybe because of this 90 million in debt, maybe this might be more an incentive for him to sell. But again, Chinese might have the money, but they're not stupid businessmen, right? They're not going to just splash the cash for no reason. And Sylvie wants to say as Presidente Honorario. Honestly, I think he's
Honorario is not the problem, Vinje. This guy wants to be the president. He wants to control, my friend. Honorario, keep him there. They kept Moratti there for their whole life. Inter's not any shittier than they are. It's okay.
Good point.
This guy, Berlusconi, wants to create. He wants to organize the Christmas party. What he put on and this and that and that. That's what he wants to do.
It's a good point.
It's a good point. So, guys, what must Milan do this summer? I mean, in terms of maybe signings, should they invest their money better? I mean, look, we wasted 20 million on Bertolacci last summer, and I think the money wasn't really properly spent. We're still missing that midfield piece, which it's been 4, 5, 6 years that we've been missing.
Now, let's look at it this way. Steve said change from the top, correct? In the last, okay, let's be honest, 2 years we've been actually making a lot of changes, a lot of in and a lot of out. Has anything changed? So I think he's right. You can keep these players.
Yeah.
Bacca needs a supporting role, right? An Ibra type, which we'll leave it at that. And the midfield, well, we need a Montolivo on steroids. That's what we need, right? So basically, not Montolivo.
Don't say that. Don't say we don't need no Montolivo. We need someone. We need a playmaker. We need a guy that in the recuperation time of Coppa Italia doesn't decide to make a back pass and he almost choked and he gave it to someone else. We need a playmaker. We need someone who could control the game, control the tempo of the game. You're gonna have to spend money to get a guy like that.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have to suffer and you're gonna have to make the youth play. So they either gonna have we're gonna say it again. I said it multiple times. You either splash the cash or you have faith in the youth. They're in between both. And until they figure out what they want to do, we're going to always have these problems. You could write on Twitter 150,000 times, sell B, sell this, sell the Chinese, sell the everything. If they don't have a plan, they will not make Europe.
That's right. So, guys, for the last part of the season review, I'm going to ask your personal opinion on certain questions regarding our players this season. So, let's start off with you, Vince. For you, who was the best player this season?
The best player this season, I would have to. It's a hard one because it wasn't a lot, but I would probably say Bacca, guys. Bacca was probably, you know what? Take out his goals from and not to say that he was a superstar. He still scored a good amount of goals for the team. I don't see anybody, even that Kuka showed the most heart, but I'm not gonna say he's the best player because what he provided on the pitch compared to Bacca, but I would have to say Carlos Bacca, and unfortunately, I would not be surprised if they don't revamp the team. He ain't staying.
No. This guy is a guy that needs Europe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's not gonna stay with a team that has no ambition and no plan going forward. He always said in his interviews that when he joined Milan, it's because there's a plan and everything. But personally, and I think even for you guys, this plan is inexistent, and we definitely haven't seen it up to now. For you, who's the worst player this season?
Montolivo.
Montolivo, no doubt about it.
Montolivo.
And what's
Worst player, Montolivo.
Are you gonna elaborate?
Guys, Gio can make a video of all the worst plays of Montolivo. Could you do that for me? He's gonna do it for me. He's gonna do it for me. And you know why he's the worst player? Because he wears the armband. He's a player that came from Fiorentina to Milan, and what do? We give him the armband.
Yeah.
So that just explains a little bit of a bandiera of this team that comes from Fiorentina. On free loan, of course, free. We don't pay for anybody.
Parametro zero.
This guy has played in the Euros. He's played in the World Cup. He's played in the Champions League. He has a wealth of experience, and he is by far the dumbest player in Serie A. The dumbest. Because Chocharo Bar was going to lose a table and a big screen TV because I was going to take my phone and throw it through the window for how bad this guy is. Because it's not a knock on him as a character. It's just have a little bit of brains. This is what you could do. Do it. If you can't do it, just dish it out simple. That's all. No. Him, Mr. Montolivo, he has to try to do everything. He has to try to make a back pass, back heel, this. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You never did it, and you can never do it because you can't.
You can have
Worst player.
You can have a video
Worst player.
just
But
on
Steve,
Montolivo.
let me ask you this question: are you gonna put up another 3 years of Montolivo now?
I'm gonna have no choice. I have no choice. 3 years. We didn't give 3 years to Pirlo because they said we don't give 3-year extensions to 30-plus-year-old. So what do? We give it to Monto Beepen-Levo.
So
Monto Beepen-Levo.
if you are a good friend of a Milanista like my friend there, Steve, that when he gets a no poco d'acita because he looks a Montolivo, get yourself in a bella boutique de brioche.
Yeah,
It always comes in handy, Steve, for the acita. But I know it's
miracle. Go to the next player.
definitely. So let's go with the biggest surprise. The biggest surprise of the season for Milan. I mean, there weren't many, but I'm sure there's some.
Ooh, I would probably put Niang in there. I don't think nobody predicted him to come out this way. Niang and Kuka, I would say, because when Kuka got signed, we were like, okay, and what do you got, another Genoa player, and you know, but he showed some art. But Niang, I didn't think he was gonna score.
You stole mine for the next question. Shit.
Personally, I think the biggest surprise. I mean, I have to go with Donnarumma, guys.
No, you're a keeper. It's only normal.
I'm a keeper, yes, but at the same time, who was expecting this kid to even play in a friendly match at the beginning of the season?
Very
Why
good
does
point.
why does
Very good point.
Mihalovic don't get credit for that?
He deserves credit, and even Donnarumma mentioned in an interview today, he said, Mihalovic deserves the credit for actually having the balls to play me in a league match.
Why did he stop there, though? That's the question
That's
that
the
I want to
question.
ask. I want to ask, why did he stop at Donnarumma? Because he could have surely said someone in the midfield was better than Montolivo.
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't until late that we saw Jose Mauri coming in and so forth. But, I mean...
But yeah, no, your biggest surprise now. You
No.
got Donnarumma.
No,
for
Donnarumma for sure, me, biggest surprise.
Sure. Youngest player, right? Whoever 16. When
Yeah,
did he start?
well,
16
yeah.
years old and some other.
Youngest player. The most underrated player of the season.
Kuka.
He came in at 3 million this summer, guys.
Steal.
3 million.
But this is a typical Galliani signing, okay? Because he went and get this player who everybody was made at the end of the transfer window. It was very late when we got him, and everybody was saying, but you needed to bring in a midfield, and you brought in Kuka.
And everybody was left dumbfounded.
You understand? And he stole a player from Genoa, which 3 million is nothing these days,
No.
guys.
I
Honestly.
mean, look, Bertolacci, 20 million.
20 million, and we got
Look
a
at the
player.
difference.
We got a starting player for 3 million, and for 20 million we sat him on the bench. You see, but that's the problem with this team. That 20 million, when Eriksson from Ajax was available, you didn't want to spend 20 million.
Yeah,
that's right.
But you went to spend 20 million on Bertolacci.
Per fare il favore alla Roma.
Exactly. When Verratti was available for 12 million, you didn't want to spend 12 million, so we went to spend 20 on Bertolacci. But then you steal a player like Kuka at 3 million.
And a guy like Kuka, guys, can we say that every match we've seen from his play, his positives outweighed his negatives. So, like, he's had those bad games,
Yeah.
but even on those bad games, he still showed heart. He was running.
The things
like,
he
back
did
and forth.
good.
I thought I saw Inzaghi
yeah.
there back and forth.
We're
Always
more than
running.
the worst. So finally, we're gonna end this off with the most overrated player for Milan. Who was it? It's a tough question.
This is most overrated player. Would you say Balotelli when he came in?
I don't know. I mean, Balotelli. Every time he
Balotelli
comes
wasn't
in,
even rated. You can't even
No,
rate
I'm
him.
saying like everybody was expecting him to.
No,
to
no one
create-
expected nothing. We got him. We
I
took
think
him
he was
back
just
from
there.
Liverpool.
Yeah, just to give once again a favor. I think, in my opinion, Liverpool didn't want him, like we saw with Boateng too. Guys, come to the team. Come train with
Yeah, we have
us.
spots. We're not gonna give it to the young people. We'll give it to overrated players.
Yeah.
But we're not even gonna rate him.
Oh,
You have an opinion on who was for you the most overrated, or
For me, the most overrated, I think, has to be. Unfortunately, at the same time, it has to be Bacca. Bacca, as much as he did well,
yeah, that's true.
for the money that we paid for him, he's a striker that cannot create on his own. So $30 million you gave to a guy who needs someone else, who you know that a playmaker is going to cost you nothing less than 25. So this player is costing you 55 million for 15 goals.
But I will remind everybody this while we wait for our grappa, because we need a grappa to finish off the season
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Guys, please remember this. Carlos Bacca, yes, millions, but at one point, we were 50 million euros in for Kongombia and Jackson Martinez.
Yeah, we're going to be the most overrated players if
Definitely.
we sign them.
Right, and
Yeah.
one is doing nothing at Inter, and the other one's in China, I believe.
thing, yeah.
Okay, so but I like the most overrated player, or you would have to go with Bortolacci just because of his
Of
price
his price
tag,
tag, that's
right?
it.
Just because of the price tag.
I mean, guys,
unfortunately.
it's just incredible. The guy did nothing all season round, and he's getting paid, I don't know how much in wages, but the price tag is ridiculous.
We're never gonna get that money back.
No.
Never back.
Roma, they're laughing. They're on the beach laughing with 20 million at the moment.
They're gonna pay El Shaarawy with that money.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's just a few things that Milan's management do in general. But Marcello,
Yeah.
Presidente is ready here with the
I
grappa.
got some
So I think this is the best way.
Grappa
I think this
nice
is the best
and cold
way
in the freezer.
to end the season, guys, with
Yeah.
the shot of grappa because
I'd like to say thank you to our host, Rossoneri TV, Signora Gio Leone, for having Red Card Weekly after a 2-year hiatus, Steve. Look at Steve. Look how beautiful you are. So
Look
who
at-
knows, maybe, but we'll come back with some. But please subscribe to his channel. You might see us again. Who knows? But again, remember, AC Milan Fan Club of Montreal. We got 4 of the 5 admins here, and we like to unite us all and maybe have an alcoholic anonymous Milanista groups for these kind of situations.
definitely. So guys,
To a
cheer-
great new season.
to a great new season,
Salud.
hopefully, and as always, Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.